Welcome to Five Fires EV News. Today we're going to be talking about Rivian, which has just launched the largest IPO in U.S. history. All right, let's go straight to the website, the Wall Street Journal, to talk about what has gone down today. Here on Five Fires EV News, we cover all things electric vehicle, and this is a big subject to talk about that has dropped today. This is not about forecasting. This is not stock advice. We're just here to talk about the news. All right, let's fire it up. And I will put a link in the description of this article. So if you guys want to go ahead and read this for yourselves, you definitely can. All right, let's go ahead and go into the article. Rivian shares surge in largest U.S. IPO since 2014. Investors' excitement over electric vehicles award startup a market value of roughly $86 billion. Holy smokes. And here we get a good look at one of them. And this is the truck version of the inside. Let's see, let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Rivian Automotive Inc. made its debut on the public markets Wednesday, soaring a valuation that instantly made it a rival of traditional car makers and the latest beneficiary of investors' fervor for greener auto technologies. And as of today, it went up 29.14%. The California-based startup, founded in 2009 by a Massachusetts Institute of Technology graduate, closed at $100.73 a share, well above the $78 initial offering price set Tuesday night. The closing price gave Rivian a valuation of roughly $86 billion based on the expected number of shares outstanding. On a fully diluted basis, the company's valuation was more than $100 billion. Wow. This is just amazing. Amazing. The highly anticipated initial public offering, which raised more money than any other U.S. listing since 2014, further illustrates the excitement that has been building on Wall Street for electric vehicle makers, particularly those like Rivian that are still young and relatively unknown, but hold promise in challenging the more established car companies. Rivian's debut. Here we go. Rivian's debut in many ways defies typical market fundamentals, which it seems like these EVs normally do, these EV startups. The startup is barely generating revenue and is still losing money. Wall Street is valuing it more than Ford Motor Company. What? And about on par with General Motors Company, which are worth $77.4 billion and $86.05 billion respectively. With Rivian's valuation, along with Tesla Inc. at more than $1 trillion, shows the optimism around the car market's shift to vehicles that run on electricity rather than gasoline, a technology that has created an open field in the race to dominate the future automobile. With plans to expand its lineup 3 models this year, Rivian has attracted investors with big ambitions to bring electric vehicles to the mainstream, including rolling out battery-powered trucks and SUVs. Additionally, it has drawn the backing of some blue-chip investors, including Ford, Amazon.com Inc., and asset manager T. Rowe Price Group Inc. Very big names right there. Wow. Rivian raised nearly $12 billion in the offering, proceeds that will help expand factory production and speed development of future vehicle models. Rivian founder Chief Executive Officer R.J. Scaringe said in an interview Tuesday, the IPO represents an opportunity to accelerate how quickly we can grow. Mr. Scaringe said, speaking from the company's factory in Normal, Illinois. We have to build a lot of vehicles. And by the way, this right here looks amazing. This is the R1S SUV, and that was from an auto show in 2018. I can imagine the updates that has happened with this, but that looks beautiful. Very beautiful vehicle. Love that SUV and the way it looks. The global auto industry has sharply pivoted to electric vehicles in recent years, a shift being driven in part by stricter auto emission regulations around the world, and some governments settling timelines for phasing out gasoline engine vehicles entirely, which I feel like that topic of conversation has not been talked about enough. The whole timeline of phasing out gasoline engine vehicles entirely, like not a little bit, entirely. GM, Ford, and other major car companies are also moving quickly. Uh-oh. Why does that keep happening? Hold up, stand by. All right, here we go. GM, Ford, and other major companies are also moving quickly to electrify their showrooms, but investors have largely been captivated by challenger brands, encouraged by success of electric vehicles pioneer Tesla. On Wednesday, GM CEO Mary Barra said Tesla's market worth and fast rising values of new players like Rivian and Lucid Group, which we just did a video on Lucid Group if you guys want to check that out, underscore the growth potential for car companies. General Motors is so undervalued, Ms. Barra said during an appearance at a conference held by the New York Times. When I look at our ability to scale to serve customers, I think we're incredibly well positioned, she said. Still, auto startups focused solely on electric vehicles have certain advantages, are benefiting from stock spirals. Whether their high valuation provide cheap capital that fuels growth and in turn positive investor sentiment, said Bank of America analyst John Murphy. I feel like John Murphy's been in the news a lot lately. If a large global footprint can be built with no cost capital, the growth story will likely continue to carry the day for the stocks, Mr. Murphy said. The battle for capital and talent is also likely to intensify as many of these electric vehicle startups generate large amounts of investor and consumer interest. Morgan Stanley analyst Adam Jones wrote in a research note Wednesday. In note, Morgan Stanley lowered the price target on GM shares. Rivian, however, is still a newcomer to the marketplace. It began delivering its first model, an electric pickup truck called R1T, to customers in September. And actually, my buddy Danny got to see one of these Rivians in person at, I think it was Universal City Walk, and he said it was beautiful. By the end of the year, it plans to launch additional models. Wow, by the end of the year, what? An electric SUV called the R1S and a delivery truck developed in conjunction with Amazon.com, which according to company filings owns roughly 19% stake in Rivian. So you best believe Amazon is like all in this business happening right now with anything Rivian. 19% is a lot, especially at the valuation it has. And that's just at the IPO, like one day. As it works to scale, Rivian has been burning through capital. It lost $2 billion. Wonder why this happens on this website. It lost $2 billion from the start of 2020 through June of this year and plans to deliver around 1,000 vehicles by year's end, according to the company filing. Wow. So they're going to be able to deliver 1,000 of these vehicles in 2021. The market for electric vehicles is relatively small but growing quickly. Electric vehicle sales accounted for 3.6% of total U.S. auto sales in October, according to analysts at Morgan Stanley. And that right there is a big topic of conversation. Only 3.6% of sales in the U.S., auto sales in the U.S. Electric vehicles have a lot of market space to go in the near future. As we read earlier, that the whole gasoline engine vehicles are going to be phased out. And then imagine, like we're just talking about 3.6% of the total sales. Wow, there's just a lot of potential in this future for electric vehicles. The Biden administration aims to hasten the transition. Where are we at? I'm going to go up. Every time I go down, it seems like it gets crazy. I'm going to go up by highlighting. The Biden administration aims to hasten the transition to electric vehicles as a part of its efforts to reduce the country's greenhouse gas emissions. To do so, it's pushing to expand purchase incentives for electric car buyers. Today, buyers of the first 200,000 Rivian vehicles are eligible for a $7,500 federal tax credit that can help defray the upfront cost of purchasing a battery-powered model. So wow, right off the top, $7,500 to purchase one of these for the first 200,000. Such credits designed to help entice consumers to electric vehicles have helped the industry grow. Analysts and dealers said Mr. Scarnage said that the incentives would help accelerate the adoption of electric vehicles, but weren't crucial to his company's future. It's important for any business not just us to not design the business around them. So he's saying they're not going to base everything on that incentive. It's about the vehicle. At least that's how I'm interpreting this. We view them as a short term in nature. So that's not going to be something that's always going to be happening with these federal tax credits. Ford additionally has roughly 12% stake in Rivian, having first taken position in the upstart in 2019 after beating out crosstown GM for the critical investment. $1.2 billion that Ford has invested is now worth roughly $12 billion at Rivian's fully diluted valuation. Ford and Amazon.com declined to comment on Rivian's listing. Rivian could still confront challenges in expanding production, particularly with 3 new models launching in quick succession. Analysts say historically, other automotive startups have struggled in the area of manufacturing quality. They say launching multiple models in short time span would even be difficult for some well-established automakers. The company is also facing a lawsuit from recently departed executive who alleges she was fired in retaliation for telling human resources executive that she had been subjected to gender discrimination. According to the complaint filed last week in California court, Laura Schaub, Rivian's former sales and marketing vice president, said she had raised concerns about Rivian's manufacturing quality, unrealistic production targets, and the pricing of vehicles. The lawsuit alleges some of the company executives have said vehicle prices should be increased following the IPO. Mr. Scarnage declined to comment specifically on Ms. Schwab's lawsuit. Competitors of electric cars is also heating up in the marketplace, with both startups and legacy automakers rushing to roll out the new plug-in models that could directly compete with those offered by Rivian. GM plans to revive the Hummer nameplate as an electric pickup truck, with first deliveries beginning later this year. Wow. Ford has unveiled an electric version of its best-selling F-150 pickup set to start production 2022. That's going to be very, very interesting. I'm excited about that. Wow, F-150 electric vehicle. That'll be something to talk about. Mr. Scarnage said he welcomed the competition, saying the industry would need to produce upward of 1 billion new electric vehicles in the next 2 decades as it transitions from gas-powered models to electric ones. It's just staggering, he said. This is not a situation in which there's going to be a single winner. So pretty much what he's saying there's going to be a lot to go around. That whole 3.6 of auto sales in October, just imagine, like 10% of sales. Well, how much money is that? And then eventually sales of these electric vehicles are going to keep going up, and more percentage of the sales in the U.S. are going to be electric. Imagine when it gets to 25%. Mind-blowing. Thank you for watching 5 Fires EV News. Please subscribe if you are interested in just daily news about electric vehicles in general. That's what we cover here on 5 Fires EV News. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out. Thank you for supporting the fire.